Mayor, calling the Committee on Environment, Climate, and Legacy to order. Let the record show that today is Tuesday, February 18th, 3:02. And want to start this fast because we have Chair Pappas here, chairing the Capital Investment Committee is concurrent to this time as well. So, Chair Pappas, or Senator Pappas, welcome. Senate File 912, Minnesota Transportation Museum.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman and committee members. I'm so excited to share with you this gem that a lot of people don't realize is there. It's just north of the Capitol, the Minnesota Transportation Museum. A really, really fun place to take your family for a visit sometime at very reasonable costs. They also have a train that they run along the St. Croix in that other state, who shall remain nameless. But the problem is that, you know, they're in a historic building and they're having problems with their roof, which leaks. So we really need to preserve this amazing historic asset. It's called the Jackson Street Roundhouse, and it's a vital piece of Minnesota's railroad history. They are a very small but mighty nonprofit. They operate mostly with volunteers who run their trains and run their programs and run the museum, and because there's just so many railroad lovers in the state of Minnesota. But you know, what happens under the roof is important, but it's mostly important that they have a roof to operate under. And with that, I really want to turn it over to Josh Hobie, who is their executive director, to tell you a little bit more about their work.
Welcome to the committee.
Thank you, Chair, members of the committee. Thank you for the opportunity to speak today. My name is Josh Hobie, and I have the privilege of serving as the executive director for the Minnesota Transportation Museum. We are here today to request assistance to renovate the roof of the historic Jackson Street Roundhouse, which is one of Minnesota's most significant historic railroad landmarks. But this is more than just fixing a roof. It's about what happens beneath the roof by preserving history and securing a future for the education and community partnerships that we actively pursue. The Jackson Street Roundhouse is a living museum, an educational hub, and a gathering space where we can connect Minnesotans of all ages to hands-on learning, career exploration, and a rich legacy of our state's railroad history. At MTM, we are in year 2 of our 3-year growth strategy, expanding our reach to impact our communities in a greater way. And we want to see this historic building grow alongside our organization, ensuring that it remains a center for education and opportunity in our communities. Our Full Steam Ahead initiative is the backbone of this mission by providing hands-on STEM experiences for students and direct partnerships with local schools and community groups, by offering real-world job training for high school and college students, and collaborating with major Class 1 railroads for adults, expanding career pathways, including Job Corps for training for at-risk youth and young adults. Minnesota Transportation is a small nonprofit with a big mission, run primarily by volunteers. We stretch every dollar, but this project is beyond our capacity to fund alone. Without this renovation, we are at risk of losing not only an irreplaceable piece of Minnesota history, but also a vital space for education and community engagement. Investing in this project means investing in Minnesota's future, ensuring that we can continue to educate, inspire, engage, and entertain our communities for generations to come. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you, Mr. Hobie, Director Hobie. Any question from members? Senator Green.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is probably for the testifier. Looking a little bit through your files, but haven't studied it really close, but the roof construction is wood?
Yes, the underlayment is is wood, but we do have a membrane on top, and we would replace with new insulation and a new 30, 40-year membrane.
Senator Green.
Have you had engineers look at this to see if the roof is going to be sound? Because the old wood roofs can be pretty delicate, especially after they've been leaking. And then I'll let you answer that one first.
Yes, sir. Chair, members of the committee. Yes, we have had engineers take a look in our design. There would be some structural things that would be part of this renovation as well, along with replacing some of the roof as well.
Follow up, Senator Green.
Mr. Chair, on the insulation, are you intending to insulate the roof?
Mr. Hobie.
Chair, members of the committee, yes. It's insulated now, but terribly. So we will plan on re-insulating in a better way that will help keep our costs down in the future as well.
There's one more thing, I'd be interested to look at that, because a lot of these old buildings, especially with a roof of this size, and I was looking at there, it doesn't look like you have really heavy construction beams in there. And if you insulate, you're gonna have a snow load. And I think a lot of these roofs were designed for the heat to go through and melt the snow off. And that's why I asked about the engineer, because you're putting a lot of money in this. It'd be nice to know it's not gonna collapse if we get a heavy snow load.
Mr. Director Hobie.
Yes, Chair, members of the committee. Yes, we actually just had an engineer out recently to take a look at some of our beams that needed some shoring up. And I can tell you that it's very heavily built. It's built for snow, and it's built for the weight that's on top of it right now. But when we do the renovation, we will keep all of that in consideration and happy to provide any additional materials that's needed.
Senator Green, are you just suggesting that they might need a little bit more money than $1 million?
Thank you for asking, Mr. Chair. I'm suggesting that we don't put money into something that's gonna collapse.
Sounds good. We'll put your point and my point together. Senator Pappas, any last remark?
That's all, Mr. Chairman. I just appreciate your consideration.
Okay. I missed a point here. Any testify from the audience? All right, good. Thank you, Senator Pappas. We'll lay over Senate File 912 for possible inclusion. And now the committee do now have quorum. Senator McCune is a member online right now. Next is Senate File 907, Senator Kupec, Moorhead Cultural Mall. Welcome. Looks like you have a number of testifiers, and including also letters from supporters in your community. So anytime you're ready, Senator Kupec.
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, members of the committee. This is Senate File 907. So let me just start out with, if you're not familiar with Moorhead, first of all, it is the largest city in northwest Minnesota. We have a population just over 45,000. It's part of the Fargo-Moorhead metropolitan area. We have a population total combined of about 260,000. According to the Minnesota State demographer, Clay County, and particularly Moorhead, is the fastest growing community outside of the 7-county metro Twin Cities area. A large part of that growth has come from our new American population that now call Moorhead home. In Moorhead area public schools, 64% of the students identify as white, 14 as Black or African American, 9 Hispanic or Latino, and about nearly 8% or so of Latino, excuse me, and then a sizable Native American and Asian American population. We also have one of the largest Kurdish American populations in the country. They do not get shown up as census data as they're counted in with a white population. According to the Moorhead area public schools, 56 different languages are spoken by families that are enrolled within the district. With these changes come changing needs, including the need for a multicultural gathering place. The Immigration Development Center has done a fabulous job of bringing together the greater Moorhead community, so this multicultural mall can help be a catalyst in revitalizing the downtown area. As you will hear in today's testimony, and as you can see from the submitted support letters and resolutions from our business community, presidents of our colleges, and local units of government, the Immigration Development Center has created a cross-sector collaboration. The only partner missing in this collaboration would be the state of Minnesota. And with that, Mr. Chair, I would like to bring in some of my testifiers.
Welcome, and state your name for the record.
My name is Fawzia Adi. I'm the Executive Director of Immigrant Development Center. Chair and the members, thank you for having me today. I would like to kind of bring Moorhead a little bit closer view to you. We are border state right next to Fargo, which is one of the biggest town in North Dakota, where Fargo is poured in a lot of investment. In the other hand, in our Moorhead downtown, we lost our Moorhead mall. So we are working on making our community downtown a vibrant place where we will use culture, music, and food to bring our downtown, the downtown revitalization that our community have been working hard for the last 5 years. We would like to get your support. I want to thank the Senator Kupec, who brought this bill forward, SF 907, Senator Mohammed, Senator Murphy, and Senator Hurd. Thank you for bringing our voice out. Moorhead needs you desperately. In our downtown right now, we don't have a downtown that's functioning. Our community came together to create a community where we have opportunity in Moorhead. What's happening right now, most of our money, it's going to the other side of the river. We don't have a lot of movement going on in our downtown. I will also like to tell you about the cost of this project. It's $7 million. We are only asking for $4 million. We are working with partners for prosperity, and also we are working with Propel to secure the building. We are asking a little money to help us renovate the building that we are working on. This will create opportunity for our community, vibrant downtown. It will create a place where our community can gather, share food, music, and culture to bring our downtown to be a place of gathering. I also have our mayor who is online, and also our chamber, and Shannon and Siham Ahmedi from the culture, from the Kurdish community.
Thank you, Ms. Ade, and for your testimony. I missed a point too as I went and tried to move this very quickly for Senator Pappas. I forgot to state that we trying to allow testifiers a 2-minute limits if possible, and so that we can go accordingly, but depend on how much time we have later too. But normally we usually kept presentation in 2 minutes. But appreciate you got it. You got it before I make the set the rule here, Ms.
Thank you,
Ade.
Chair.
So I'm going to call on Mayor Carson, City of Moorhead Mayor, from online. Here's where the 2-minute begins. Mr. Mayor, state your name for the record.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Chair Hur and members of the committee. My name is Shelley Carlson, and I have the honor and privilege of being the mayor of the city of Moorhead, Minnesota. I'm delighted to testify today in support of the Moorhead Cultural Mall and its dynamic leader, Fawzia Addy of the Immigrant Development Center. Ms. Addy has a bold vision for the cultural mall, and she's brought the entire community of Moorhead along with her. Her enthusiasm is contagious. She's also engaged with skilled and dedicated advisors to ensure the cultural mall is sustainable long-term. Ms. Addy has enlisted an experienced developer and architect firm that is well regarded in the Moorhead-Fargo area and is known to deliver projects on time and on budget. Moorhead is a diverse and thriving community with a rich history, and we are committed to economic and civic achievement for all of our residents, including those who have moved to Moorhead from around the world. And beyond the economic opportunities, the mall will foster social cohesion and inclusiveness in our community by encouraging cross-cultural dialogue and celebrating our collective heritage and traditions. Indeed, college students from MSUM Moorhead, Concordia College, M-State, and even across the river from NDSU are eager for this project to move forward. They can't wait to try the international foods and experience world cultures, and neither can I. As many of you know, Moorhead has embarked on a huge redevelopment in our downtown core, 18 acres, which includes 1,000 housing units, 140,000 square feet of commercial space, and an anticipated $5 million in new property value. The location of the Cultural Mall is immediately adjacent, across the street, in fact, from our downtown center. I cannot imagine a better location for the Cultural Mall. We expect the Cultural Mall to attract visitors from across the region and beyond, showcasing the unique and diverse cultural heritage of Moorhead's residents and its booming local economy. Thank you for allowing me to testify in support of Senate File 907 today. We look forward to working with you and our legislative delegation and others to secure funding for this project, and I stand for any questions.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Next testify on remote is Ms. Schweitzer. Anytime you're ready, and correct me if I pronounce your name wrong.
Okay, it's Schweigert, Shannon Schweigert. Thank you to the committee members. I am the managing partner of PACE Fundraising, which operates in offices out of Fargo, North Dakota and Shakopee, Minnesota. I have been doing private fundraising for about 33 years, and in that time period of securing priority funding for community projects, one thing that stands out as differentiating project success from project failure is leadership. And I want to talk a little bit about the leadership of the Immigrant Development Center and the City of Moorhead on this project. I've known Fauzia Adi for the past 15 years. She is best described as a force of nature in our community that is by definition a community champion in the truest sense of the title. In a feasibility study to test the feasibility of the Cultural Mall project that my firm conducted in 2024, 80% of interview subjects ranked the leadership of Immigrant Development Center, Ms. Adi, as a 7 or higher on a scale of 0 to 10. That is one of the highest we have ever recorded at PACE Fundraising. Some of the respective comments on Fauzia's leadership were Fauzia and the IDC are synonymous. She truly cares about people and wants to help them. She's a great community champion and a driving force to see this project move forward. I have personally witnessed Fauzia's impact on our community in good times and in times of challenge. She remains true to herself and her cause to make the greater Moorhead community even more accepting of our differences through cultural immersion. In my work, it is often said, people give to people, not things. And I encourage the members of this committee to forward this bill so the people of Minnesota can give and support the people of Moorhead to ensure that the Moorhead Cultural Mall becomes a reality. Thank you again to members of the committee. I wholeheartedly stake my reputation and my support behind this project and look forward to representing the private impact that it will have. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your testimony. Next, also on remote, is Ms. Grinberg.
Good afternoon. My name is Chair Hara and members of the committee. My name is Catherine Grinberg, and I have the pleasure of serving as the Executive Vice President at the FMWF Regional Chamber of Commerce up here in the Moorhead area. Thank you for the opportunity to provide some virtual testimony. We'll be down there in a couple of weeks for our day at the Capitol, but wasn't able to make it today. On behalf of our over 1,700 members in this area, I respectfully offer testimony in support of SF 907. As you heard from Senator Kupec, Moorhead is one of the fastest growing communities outside of the Twin Cities metro area due to the secondary migration and increasing immigrant populations. Establishing this Moorhead Cultural Mall offers our immigrant and BIPOC-owned businesses a vital hub designated to support entrepreneurship, economic development, and cultural inclusion. The project will provide affordable retail spaces, a marketplace for diverse small businesses, a welcoming venue for cultural events, education, and community engagement. Overall, the initiative will strengthen the local economy, create jobs, and provide culturally relevant services that reflect the need of Moorhead's growing and diverse population. In closing, economic diversity is expanding, but access to cultural-specific business spaces remains limited. This cultural mall that Fauzia is working on, and I echo the comments of her strong leadership, will bridge these gaps, ensuring that Moorhead's economic landscape is equitable and inclusive, which is very important for Moorhead as we grow. For this region, we respectfully urge the committee to support this legislation. Thank you again for your time this afternoon.
Thank you very much, Ms. Grinberg. Any testifier from the audience? Yes, do come forward and state your name for the record.
Good afternoon. My name is Siham Ahmedi. Again, good afternoon, Chair and members of the committee. I am a Kurdish American who grew up in Moorhead, Minnesota. Today I'm here to speak in strong support for the funds for the Cultural Mall in Moorhead, a space that is long overdue for our community that is growing and very diverse. The Kurdish community is the largest minority population in Moorhead, yet throughout my life, we have never had a dedicated space to gather, celebrate any of our cultures, or share our traditions with the broader community. We have relied on homes or forgone celebrations in order to just be part of the community and survive. There are no spaces that are built for the kind of cultural celebrations that define who we are, our music, our dance, our art, or our sense of community. Moorhead is growing rapidly, as you heard, and I can echo those, and have seen it in the last 25 years that I've lived in Moorhead. A cultural mall would provide a home for multicultural celebrations where our Kurdish, Somali, Latino, and indigenous populations can share their traditions with the greater community. It'll also be a venue for art, music, and performances, so we can again showcase to our community and invite others to experience our cultures. A gathering space for cultural education and dialogue, strengthening the connections across the community, as well as a marketplace to help small and minority-owned businesses, creating opportunities for everyone in our region. For years, my family and many others have longed for a space where we can openly celebrate without limitations. This investment would not only uplift the cultural communities, but bring all of Moorhead together, ensuring that the future generations have a place to belong, to create, and share their heritage with the greater community. I urge support for the Cultural Mall to make it become a reality. And thank you so much, Chair and the committee, for your time and consideration today.
Thank you very much for your testimony. And there's also a little sheet over there to put your name on, so do sign in before you leave. Any any more testifier, first of all? And question from members? Senator Green, okay. Senator Green.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Senator Kupec, I know that it doesn't say in your bill, but in your paperwork, it says you're asking for $4 million, and it says to acquire, renovate, upgrade. So is there a building picked out for this, or are you still looking?
Senator Kupec on
Sure.
this idea.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yes, there is a building that has already been picked out for this.
Okay. Mr.
Senator
Chair, just one more question then. Because this is a new project, I'm assuming that the Immigrant Development Center is a brand-new 501c3?
Senator Kupec on this idea.
Chair and the members, we are founded in 2006. We have been around for so long.
Okay, follow up, Senator Icorn.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'll have a couple. I'll try to wrap them into one, maybe two here. I see on line .16, you've got a blank appropriation. Senator Green referenced $4 million. Your testifier referenced $4 million, but I also see a resolution from the city of Moorhead where it says, whereas the IDC submitted a request for $7.25 million to management and budget for funding from the Minnesota Legislature's capital investment program to fund a portion of the mall. So is it $4 million or is it 7.25? And if it's eligible for bonding, why are we here for legacy?
Senator Kupec. Mr.
Sure.
Director.
I can start. Do you want to answer that? Or I can answer it first. So in terms of bonding, because it is a nonprofit organization, and the bonding committee has kind of said they are preferring to do infrastructure that belongs to states, to the municipalities, to the county. We did not think it was appropriate at this time to go through bonding. We did try for bonding a couple of years ago, but thought that this is probably more appropriate route. And at the time, it was significantly more. Ms. Adi has done incredible work of raising funds from other places outside. And so the amount is not going to be as much.
Senator Icorn.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The other question I would have would be about your fundraising partner, Pace. I assume they receive, I assume they receive some kind of fee from you guys. Are they getting a percentage of whatever the legislature gives. Typically, I don't think we see that coming out of legacy funds to pay fees. I mean, is that something you guys are going to be paying separate? I don't have a problem with this necessarily going through legacy. I think we're going to see more of it. I would rather see capital investment be roads and bridges, not civic centers and swimming pools. This maybe fits a little better here, so I don't specifically have a problem with it, but I'd be curious to know kind of how they're going to get paid. I don't want legacy dollars going to pay consultants. Legacy dollars, I think when Minnesotans voted for that, they intended it to go to projects, not consultants. So that would be my only other question, Mr. Chair.
Sir Kupec and our Director Adia.
Chair and members, our community have raised this money to do the study through PACE. This is done by our local funders. So they won't take any fees out of this project.
Thank you for your answer. Any follow-up or any other questions from members? Well, Sarah Kupec, Ms. Adia, and testifier, thank you for bringing this forward. This is a well-worth project. Maybe at some point, maybe I'd like to hear a clear number, so we can decide to work on that number, whether it's 4 million or more. But this project is very worthwhile, and it allowed me to also to make a little short statement in terms of cultural mall. You know, our demographic is changing. I think all city, as you see your mayor already testify, I think all city that have more than 10,000 residents or, have 14% new Americans or minorities should put in their city budget in terms of economic development to support or to encourage having cultural mall at some location, some point. Otherwise, the first range city or the suburb will have large abandoned mall. I can speak on behalf of my city, but I see other city have abandoned mall. Abandoned mall start to happening because we didn't give support to culture or community like Ms. Adia had brought forward, and she had already did a study, long-term study to be more sustainable. So again, I like your presentation, your project. I just which also allow me to make a little statement that our city should be considered. There are malls that been here for ages, getting government support, but now there's a new layer of communities, and we need to continue to do that. Otherwise, we're going to end up having a lot of abandoned mall or funded by outside the country, perhaps. We rather support those who are ingrown here, first of all, and new American and minority are the emerging community that would take on that opportunity. Now I said, I make my statement, but any last comment from you, Senator Kupec?
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you for those comments. And yes, it's one of the things I think that having lived in our community that somewhat has pained me is that I've seen my neighbor to the west do some investment for the new American community and have those businesses and all pop up there. And I'm like, I would like to have that a little bit more on our side of the river as well. So I'm proud to bring this forward, and thank you for letting me brag on my home city for just a little bit. So thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much, and thank you for the testimony. I also want to, I concur with Senator Eichhorn and his statement as well, but we'll consider this as a layover for possible inclusion in the legacy bill on Senate's file 907. Thank you. Okay. Next is Senator McQuaid. Senator McQuaid, Senate file 1411, Minnesota Zoological Garden. Welcome, take your time, and before you make your presentation, do state your name for the record.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. Before you today is Senate File 1411, which would provide critical funding to the Minnesota Zoo for programming and development. The Minnesota Zoo is requesting $8 million for this biennium to expand its reach to greater Minnesota and underserved communities. Specifically, this bill would expand funding for free or discounted access for more than 120,000 guests. Currently, the Minnesota Zoo reaches over 1.5 million visitors annually. Decrease barriers in school transportation costs, especially those serving low-income students, and ensure that more students have access to high-quality educational experiences. ADA-compliant infrastructure upgrades that are essential for creating and maintaining an inclusive and accessible visitor experience. And members, I'm very proud to host the Minnesota Zoo in my district, but the Minnesota Zoo is our whole state zoo, and it is a state agency, and so the critical investments are needed if we want to be sure that the zoo is going to be able to continue to be welcoming for Minnesota families and visitors for years to come. And with that, Mr. Chair, I would turn it over to my first testifier, the Executive Director, CEO of the Minnesota Zoo, John Frawley. What is your title? President? Director.
Director. Thank you, Senator.
You're welcome.
Welcome to the committee. So just go with the routine. You've been used to this already.
Yes.
State your name for the
Yes, sir.
record and go ahead with the testify.
Mr. Chair, committee members, thank you. John Frawley, Director of the Minnesota Zoo. Thank you for the opportunity to present. Three things I want to cover today is just some basic Zoo 101, give you an update what's happening at the zoo, our current legacy funding, and thank you for that to the state, and then our legacy request. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah, they can say.
Okay. So just a little bit of Zoo 101. We are a state agency, public-private partnership. Our current operating model is we receive about 37 to 38% of our general operating funds from the state. The rest of it we raise kind of like a hometown business. We have to roll up our sleeves and have a business plan to raise a lot of our revenue. So we are a very unique state agency. We're the 5th largest zoo in the country, spanning over 485 acres. The average zoo in our country is usually less than 30 acres, so we are a large zoo. And we're a 24/7 campus, 365 days a year. We are like running a small hospital or a small city. We are Minnesota's top year-round gated attraction with over 1.5 million visitors. I'm proud to say that this last year, in the last 47 years, we set a record attendance at the Minnesota Zoo. So more Minnesotans are using the zoo than ever before. We have access that serves over 120,000 families for free through our Free to Explore programs, which we will talk about bringing those free programs to greater Minnesota further in the discussion today. We're an educational leader, reaching over 83,000 students across over 1,000 Minnesota schools. We are, just found out, we are the largest national zoo camp in the nation. This happens in Minnesota. But with all of that said, we are an aging campus. The new zoo, as we are often called, we're not the new zoo anymore. We actually are a 50-year-old structure. Our current legacy programs, and thank you for the support from the state, we have autism apps, we have increased access to our Wells Fargo family farm, that we educate Minnesotans about our ag in our state. We have amazing animal ambassador programs. We have outreach education, like Zoomobile, that reaches a lot of communities that cannot visit the zoo or cannot make it to the zoo. Legacy has helped us with launching large events that serve Minnesota. One of the biggest ones we just launched was Jack-o'-lantern Spectacular at the zoo, where over 170,000 Minnesotans came to that one from all over the state. So, and then also we have multilingual maps. Our request this year, we're requesting an additional $2 million per year to our current legacies, which will bring us to a $4 million ask in fiscal 26 and in 27. The areas of this request are really come into about 4 different areas. Free and discounted access to reach greater Minnesota, school bus funding, something we're calling Zuber, which is really a EV system that mobilizes the zoo and makes it easier for people to get around our 500-acre zoo, and ADA upgrades. The first area is free and discounted access. We're really proud that we've reached 1.5 million visitors at the zoo and that huge destination. But our strategic goal is to reach over 2 million visitors. And when we look at our zip code data and we do our guest surveys, what we're really finding out is the gap that we have is really in greater Minnesota. Although you can see by the map, we reach all 87 counties with some type of programming. The numbers from greater Minnesota are very low. And our surveys are showing that there's a big awareness campaign, that a lot of people don't realize all the benefits and things we are offering at the Minnesota Zoo, specifically the Free to Explore program, where, you know, if you qualify for general assistance in the state of Minnesota, you can come to the zoo for free. So what we'd really like to do is, with the support of Legacy, bring all these programs to greater Minnesota. Our Free to Explore memberships, education, school bus scholarships, which we're going to talk about, our zoo camps, which are the largest in the country, special events, Zoomobile, and virtual classes. So a lot of things the zoo has to offer that we need to bring to greater Minnesota. How we would do it with this awareness campaign, we would target, work with local media. We would have regional events throughout the state. We are prototyping and want to bring free days monthly, hopefully, to Minnesota for the zoo. In the past, that was hard for us to do, but now with timed admissions, we can control it. Youth engagement, collaborations with CVBs, ag groups like 4-H, sports enthusiasts, and obviously targeting underserved communities throughout the state. The second area that we'd like to support with this funding, and this is something I hear and we hear all the time at the zoo, and that is the lack of school bus access and school bus funding. The zoo launched our own pilot test in '24 where we raised $30,000 to give scholarships for school buses, and we put it out. It went in one day. All 30,000 was gone in one day of access. So this fund, we would like to, obviously bring a lot more reach to that program. Our surveys tell us right off the bat that 92% of the schools in Minnesota list transportation costs as their biggest barrier. The impact of what we could do with this support covering school bus is amazing. For every $100,000 of investment, we are able to bring 15,000 more students to the zoo experience. It comes at a cost of $6 to $7 per student, so a great investment. Lots of testimonies, lots of educators speaking up on this. Zuber, which is kind of a funny name, but I think most of us have experienced Uber. The zoo is the 5th largest zoo in the country. We have a huge campus. As we all know, Minnesota is growing older. By 2030, 1 in 5 Minnesotans will be older adults. You can see by the map on the screen, it's a huge zoo. We have laid out a transportation route around the entire zoo that we could support with EV systems and allow people to hop on, hop off to serve the people with mobility issues and people that have trouble with transportation. The EV system and the support, we'd be able to, first of all, acquire the fleet, bring in the operational support, and obviously the guest experience would be through reservations and signage throughout the zoo. So it's something that we really think it's time, after heading into our 50th year, that we make sure that we're ready to make sure that this older generation can enjoy and come to the zoo and we can host them. Lastly, the 4th bucket for our request is campus-wide accessibility. And this is something that is super important. The zoo, like I said, is 50 years old. We're 47, but the structures are now 50 years old. A lot of upgrades needed throughout, so we would like to start addressing more aggressively our restroom and access points, our educational spaces that are not accessible, creating better sensory spaces, and obviously the right classrooms to host groups with mobility and special needs. So with that said, I thank you, Mr. Chair and committee members, for your time. I think I've spoken with a lot of legislators about this request, and the one thing that I'm hearing back from a lot of you is that this request is tangible, it's impactful, it's measurable, and I think it helps all Minnesotans come to the zoo. So with that, I will stand for questions.
Thank you, Director Frawley, or President Frawley. We also have one more testifier, Mrs. Stevens. Okay, go ahead with your testimony. State your name for the record first.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair and members of the committee. My name is Joe Stevenson, and I'm a customer service specialist at the Minnesota Zoo. I'm also an executive board member of ASME Local 1929 and I'm here to give my and ask me support to Senate File 1411, and thank you for hearing my testimony. The Minnesota Zoo's mission is to connect people, animals, and the natural world to save wildlife. With these additional funds from the Legacy Fund, we would greatly expand our capacity to provide educational experiences and free up other funds for deferred maintenance, ecological restoration, animal upkeep, and staff compensation. We are incredibly proud to not only provide high-quality education services for young Minnesotans, but also projects that support the recovery of endangered native species, protect biodiversity, and work with groups all over the world to find innovative ways to help people and animals coexist. The additional funds would help us to fulfill our mission and to do so at a time when state and federal funding is far from certain. An area of these funds could be used to update is updating our aging interactive displays on our animals. I can tell you the number of times a child becomes disappointed when they cannot learn about a type of fish in our tanks because the display software is outdated and cannot be fixed. Updating our existing digital signs and adding them to our other exhibits could give real-time updates to our animals, including where our tiger cubs are currently playing in one of their 2 habitats. There are also many behind-the-scenes updates that could drastically improve the lives of our animals and make our keepers' jobs much easier. An outdated pump broom in our Minnesota Trail affects our beaver, Minnesota fish, and river otter exhibits. It is a struggle to keep the pumps in working order, and repairing them has become an expense that takes away from the improving other parts of the trail. Once again, the zoo has been around for 50 years. While there are many updates and improvements we can make to our campus, the education side of the zoo would also benefit. Expanding our educational programs and subsidizing programming for low-income families will allow children of all backgrounds to learn about the wonders of nature and maybe inspire the next generation of zookeepers. The Legacy Fund is about investing in what makes Minnesota great, and I believe the Minnesota Zoo plays a big part in that. We hope that you will incorporate this proposal into your omnibus bill. Thank you to Senator Maye Quade for offering the bill and for the committee and Mr. Chair for listening.
Thank you for the testimony. Any question from members? Senator Green?
Want to give other people a chance too, but
Yeah.
honestly, I guess I could think of a lot worse things to spend legacy money on than the zoo. But I do have a couple questions for you. It seems like increasingly the projects that are coming in appear to be for ongoing operations and ongoing upgrades that should probably be taken care of. And as you know, when the legacy bill was passed, it was implemented in such a way where it was to supplement and not supplant. And so are you guys taking the proper precautions that when you're going after these projects and you're going to do these projects, that they're not stuff that would be normal maintenance, stuff that needs to be done anyway? Because listening to the testimony, it seems like that's what a lot of the money's going for.
Senator McQuay, Director.
Mr. Chair, committee members, I do feel this is a good use of legacy dollars, Senator. A lot of the areas that we talked about reaching greater Minnesota with the zoo, the school bus funding, mobility throughout the zoo, ADA upgrades, although we're working hard at the zoo and we are achieving some great success, these are areas that we are unable to move forward with our basic operating dollars that we have. So I think this is an area where we need to do this to have the zoo be accessible and serve all of Minnesota. And we've looked at this very closely and think these align well.
Senator McQuay.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And Senator Green, I appreciate the question. I might be the only member of this legislature who's been going to the zoo at least once a year since she was born. And what I can tell you is that ongoing upgrades to the zoo, keeping things as they were when they were built 50 years ago, wouldn't allow a lot of Minnesotans to come to the zoo. And I think connecting Minnesotans to nature and to animals, in order to actually do that, we do need to make these changes and then actually get people to the zoo too. So I think it's a good question, and this definitely isn't ongoing maintenance. We have a very old hospital. We'll be talking in another committee about that very, very old hospital, and probably I think a water heater was used when we bought it. But this is not those things, and we really tailored this to make sure it was appropriate for this committee.
Senator Green, any follow-up? Good. Any other testify from the audience? Okay. All right, we're good to go. Senator Quade, you want a last remark, or you're good?
No, Mr. Chair, I just hope that we can have the zoo for 50 more years and that every Minnesotan gets a chance to learn and love at it like I have.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you, Senator, and testifiers. We'll lay over Senate File 1411 for possible inclusion in the omnibus bill. Next is Senate File 1387, Senator Hoffman. Minnesota Black Farmers Association.
Mr. Chair. There's an A1 amendment in front of you, Mr. Chair and members.
Okay. And our page will pass over. Do you have A1 amendment?
Everybody got that?
Okay. It's posted and it's been passed out right now. To the bill, Senator Hoffman.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members. The A1 adds some clarity to the fiscal agent that will be responsible for this money and includes other farms in there. So what you'll see in there is the NDC is the Neighborhood Development Center, and they shall be the fiscal agent. They, of course, have a history. Senator Herr, you and I, 12 years ago, big-time development in these. They've been very on that. So do you want to pass that A1 amendment so I can talk about the bill then?
Yes, and Senator Hoffman, can you move A1 amendment be adopted to Senate File 1387?
So moved.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, motion prevail.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and members. Today we look at Senate File 1387. What we're doing is it's aiming to delegate grants to the Minnesota Black Farmers Association, which are then to be distributed to black-owned farms. This bill was introduced on February 14th. The Minnesota Black Farmers Association is a nonprofit organization, and what they're looking to do is to preserve the cultural heritage of black farmers and educate communities on the agricultural practices through these funds. These funds will help to further maintain facilities for the designated historical and culturally significant farms. And with upgraded equipment, Mr. Chair and members, the Minnesota Black Farmers Association will improve their educational and developmental purposes. I have with you Angela Dawson, who actually has been kind of the founder, the spirit behind this, as well as Yaya Cochran. I don't know if she was going to come up, but Peace Mitchell is, I believe, available via the internets, and Renee Dossman is there for follow-up. But with that, Mr. Chair, Angela Dawson.
Welcome, Ms. Dawson. And before you testify, state your name for the record.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and committee members. My name is Angela Dawson. I am the co-founder of the 40-Acre Cooperative, and I have been a longtime proponent of creating a healthy and sustainable safe food system for both rural farmers and our urban customers in Minnesota and in the region. I am so grateful that the committee will get a chance to understand and learn of the historical and cultural importance of our farms and the projects that we're working on, and see the value of supporting Senate File 1387. Especially on the account of the 40-Acre Co-op, we've trained and supported many successful farmers in the region in Minnesota, and helping with grants, business planning, and farm development. And I'm currently working on ways to stand up a marketplace in an industry that small independent farmers can access to create more sustainability on their farms. Now, I don't need to tell this esteemed group, but for everyone else who doesn't know, Minnesota is very abundant in its agricultural resources and assets, and it's not only corn and soybeans. We have an amazing mix of farmers and farmer groups that are small and mid-sized all around the state, who are impacting national discussions and changing the way that we all interact with food and the environment. This bill is a critical part of Minnesota's footprint on the national stage of farming and food progress, and I applaud the committee members for its role in keeping Minnesota at the forefront of successful food and environmental policy. Finally, I think most agree that supporting farmers in Minnesota, for the most part, should be a nonpartisan issue, since we all need access to healthy food and a healthy environment. And that support looks different for different farms, but this bill helps to create economic opportunities and livable jobs in our townships while encouraging tourism, entrepreneurship, and all the things that are a hallmark of agricultural innovation. Another nonpartisan issue is the fact that no matter what part of the state you go to, if you ask any farmer, they will most likely tell you that the conditions facing small and mid-sized farmers around our state have become more challenging in recent years, and the resources are not keeping pace with the amount of challenges that we are experiencing, especially in the areas of climate extremes in the field and the unpredictable nature of disasters we are facing almost every season. So we can all agree that we need to find better ways to support farmers, and this bill is a great step forward to ensure that Minnesota's great agricultural assets are being put to their best use for our state and for our economy. And thank you for your time and attention. I stand ready to answer any questions.
Thank you, Ms. Dawson. We also have testifier online. Peace Mitchell.
Yep, she should be there. And I think
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yep, we do. We hear you.
Okay. Thank you. Can you see me? I don't know if you, oh,
We can
wow.
see you clearly.
Ask her where she is.
I'm so nervous. Okay. I'm actually in Maye, which is amazing. Visiting some farms here. So I have everything written down so I don't forget. So honorable members of Minnesota Legislature and also Madam Chair, thank you for the opportunity to testify today about the legacy and heritage of Frog Tree Farm, Minnesota's oldest multi-generational Black-owned farm. I'm honored to share this space with Yaya Cochran of Mahogany Farm and Angela Dawson of 40 Acre as we highlight the historical and cultural significance of Black farms in Minnesota. As a child growing up in Sabika Public Schools, I would have never thought I would be sitting as a panel with two other Black women farmers, and as a Speaker of the House, just was elected in Greater Minnesota. The story of Frog Tree Farm is deeply rooted in the history of Black agricultural resilience in this country. And so our farm, which my parents bought in 1971, has been a place that was subsistence farming, but they also did mushrooms and sold those at the store. But it was a place that my dad, who grew up in the South, was picking cotton in the fields. It was his dream to have this place, and it has been a place for people to gather for many years. And so we have been bringing people there to experience it, who've never been, in Greater Minnesota, and it's been pretty awesome. I think I'm gonna just end with that we need this funding so that we're able to continue bringing people there.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Mitchell. And I'm sure there's a time difference there, probably maybe too early or too late. But enjoy your time there, and thank you for your testimony from remote. Next is Yaya Cochran.
Yeah, it's not.
Do I pronounce it? Is she here?
Yeah.
Okay, come over.
And I think Mr. Chair, I think Renee Dozman is available online if any questions come. Of course, Renee is the director of the Neighborhood Development Corporation, so I don't know if she's on there too, but Yaya is here.
Hello.
Welcome. State your name for the record.
Hello, my name is Yaya Cochran. I am the co-owner of Mahogany Farms. So Mahogany Farms was bought by Mrs. Walker and Mr. Walker 15 years ago, and with that, they provided partnerships with the community and church groups as well as the Boy Scouts of America to bring young people to their farm to teach them about farming and agriculture. And so when we bought the farm from Mrs. Walker and Mr. Walker, we cried at the closing because one of the things that we found out is that our visions aligned. And one of the things that once we bought the farm, what we want to do also is provide programming. What we have is a partnership with the Brooklyn Center School District through my other nonprofit. And our hopes is to bring young people up to the farm to provide agriculture education, as well as really help them become stewards of the earth through our programming that we will be creating. Throughout the past 3 years, we've been really cultivating partnerships that will help with creating the structure in which these young people will be held through Three Rivers, as well as the U of M Extension Program, the Brooklyn Center School District, and the City of Brooklyn Center as well. So we have a bunch of people behind us ready to start programming that's going to be quality and grounded in stewardship and environmental awareness for the young people.
Thank you, Ms. Crockett. So Renee's online to answer any question. Any testifier from the audience? Okay, a question from members? Senator Green, you're the celebrity today.
Yeah, I was just wondering, thank you, Mr. Chair, and Senator Hoffman, your ask almost doubled with your it over doubled with your DE.
Yeah.
And so I'm just curious, I don't even know how much money we're going to have left in the account here, the way the stuff's going through. Are these projects scalable?
Senator Hoffman.
Mr. Chair and members, absolutely. I mean, we chose Renee Dozman and the Neighborhood Development Corporation, because that would be the fiscal agent on that. Looking at it, yeah, it is scalable if you look at that first one, but to really get that impact that we think we need, especially when NDC believes that success and innovation really is about, the definable impact of the entrepreneurs in the community, right? And this is what the direction is. So like anything in this committee, that it becomes scalable, but that extra ask was because that impact need increased on that, and that was something I added in right there.
Senator Green.
And no, I'm not going to ask for an EV car there, Steve. So.
Okay, any question from other members? Senator Eichhorn.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Senator Hoffman. I guess a lot of questions are raised because this feels different than some other, legacy requests we've seen in the past. So I'll start with kind of one similar that I asked the last testifier. Since the money will be going to the Neighborhood Development Center, are they going to receive a fee as part of basically divvying out $2 million to each of these farms?
Senator Hoffman.
Mr. Chair and Senator Eichhorn, Ms. Dozman, I think there's a standard, administrative fee, but not. I mean, they do so many of these in the past. I don't know what their application fee is. It's something Ms. Dozman can get back to the committee on that, unless she's available online to let you know what the administrative fee is. But I'll guarantee it's not 54%.
Mr. Chair, even at 5%, it equals up to hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
So it's that part's troublesome. And then I'm just kind of curious how long this association has been in existence. Seems like it might be pretty new. I know you guys have owned these farms for a little while, but it seems pretty new.
Ms. Dawson or Senator Hoffman?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, Senator Eichhorn, the association, this specific association is about 2 years old, but yes, we all have been farming for at least a decade. The time for us to get together, to be able to organize as farmers and help support each other, though, as an organization, is just a couple of years old, which is why we're using the technical assistance of NDC.
And Mr. Chair, to that
Senator
point,
Hoffman.
NDC, of course, has been around, Mr. Chair, since 1980s and has a track record of very successfully helping entrepreneurs move to that next level. That's why we chose that.
Thank you. And
when you're done, Mr. Chair.
I did mention about Ms. Dawson at NDC, but it looks like she's not online.
Okay.
Just FYI. Senator Eichhorn.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yeah, and I'm just looking at you can easily quickly look up 990 forms, IRS forms, and it looks like the organization has been, I see filed taxes in 2023 and 2024, and in each year, gross receipts were less than $50,000. So this is a lot of money to go from less than $50,000 to $6 million in just a couple years' time. So I guess if you could touch a little more on that and exactly what the money will be used for. The other question I'd have is are you guys going to have matching funds? Do you guys have $6 million lined up in matching funds? Typically when we hand money out for a lot of projects, whether it's bonding or this or some of the other projects we've heard today, they're going to have equal funds. So the state's only coming in at 50% and whatever the organization is comes in with the other 50%. So do you guys have $6 million raised as a match?
Senator Hoffman or Ms. Dawson?
Mr. Chair and members, no. Traditionally, when you look at why did we use the NDC, when you look at what folks are trying to do with the Black Farmers Association, is they don't have that. This is kind of what NDC exists for, is to help those entrepreneurs do that. So the answer to your question, Senator, no, there's not a match in that. But if you look at that, a fairly new organization formed with the right mission and vision that they're doing, helping get NDC to be the actual person to increase this, I think clarifies and gets that on the right spot. That's been a whole process. And that's why Renee Dosman, that's when we sought her out, it made sense for me to say, all right, I love what's going on here. I love the fact that there are kids in Brooklyn Center and Brooklyn Park that have never been to a farm. And yet when you look at the traditional, the Black Farmers Association, this is something that wants to be going, wants to get started. And Renee Dosman and the folks at NDC are going to be a huge, huge asset to that. Does that make sense?
Mr. Chair, I'll just make a comment. Our former esteemed colleague, Senator Bach, always so eloquently talked about, how there's a huge disconnect, especially with younger generations, and where our stuff actually comes from. You ask a lot of youth and say, well, my food comes from the grocery store. Well, where does it come from before that? Obviously, there's a huge disconnect nowadays, so I can appreciate that. I don't necessarily have a problem with what you're doing. I have a problem with the dollars and the doubling of it. I think I'd be a little more comfortable at the original request, but obviously, we'll have some time to keep talking about it as session goes on, and appreciate you having the conversation. I know your door is always open, so I'm sure we'll talk about it some more in the future. Thank you, Senator Hoffman.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and Senator.
Senator Lee.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And I guess as we've been talking here, I just have a couple of questions about the organization. Can you elaborate exactly what the Black Farmers Association is, how many members there are? It says co-op, and is that co-op itself have members, or is that a single farm? I guess that's the overall question. How does it all come together?
Sure.
Ms. Dawson?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, Senator Lang. So the association is an association of farm businesses, and there's many different farm businesses that some of them also have members and other farm businesses associated with them, because we are trying to grow the resources and the assets and the capacity of this farm group in the state. And so, for example, 40 Acre Cooperative has exactly 35 farm business members, but we do trainings and offer trainings to the public through our various different educational programs. And so our impact is pretty far and wide when it comes to the engagement that we have across the community. The Mahogany Farm has, it's a farm business co-owned by the Cochran family, but they do a lot of engagement with the community through the churches and through the Boy Scouts of America. So even though our membership is smaller but growing, we certainly don't compare to some of the larger farm associations in the state. Our impact is growing, and it's also far-reaching in terms of the impact that we're making in the food system.
And to that point, that's why when you look at the mission and vision of NDC since the 1980s, when they really look at disadvantaged entrepreneurs have gotten a shot at prosperity, this is what that why that piece is in there. And so the hope there is through the NDC and looking specifically at that. You haven't had a chance. Now this is a chance to do it. And getting to Senator Eichhorn's point, there are kiddos in Brooklyn Park and Brooklyn Center that, milk is bought at the, at the Hy-Vee or the Cub, and this is great that here we are looking at, no, it actually comes from a farm.
Any follow-up, Senator Lee?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So normally when you establish a grant program, you open it up to a certain group of individuals, and it's not earmarked farm by farm. In the past, if I was to put $6 million into the beginning farmer account, that would be a substantial amount of money to put into that account for young upstart farmers. Refinancing and then estate planning is really the full cycle of what we've done in that. That $6 million into that account would be amazing. So substantial amount of money we're talking about here. They are line items, obviously, in your bill. Are those farms privately owned, or is it a co-op that owns those farms?
Ms. Dawson.
Mr. Chair, Senator Lang, there are different farm members that have different ownership structures within the association. Some are cooperatively owned and some are privately owned. And the reason why, unfortunately, we have this amount for the line item is that there's been a real lack of investment in these particular farms. We don't really, I mean, 6 million seems like a lot now, but if you look historically about over at the resources that have been allocated to various farms over the last decade or so, $6 million is really barely getting us to operating at 21st century levels. We have a lack of, equipment and a lack of safety that we're providing for our farmers, and we really want to be able to host the community and be able to offer education, tourism opportunities, and we can't do that without safe facilities on the farms. And so, unfortunately, there's been a lack of opportunity for these particular farmers. All the farmers in my co-op do not have access to traditional farming funding. As you may or may not know, that there's a lack of bank investment and other farm credit to specific farm groups. And for that reason, we've had to work together on very narrow margins and be able to share resources. And it gets kind of difficult for me to like, for example, right now, I need to cut hay on my farm, and I've been relying on a neighbor for the last 10 years to help with that, but he can't do it anymore. So now I have to try to figure out how to get a tractor from over in Moorhead, Minnesota, to come over on my farm to be able to cut my hay so we can operate. And that kind of stuff just isn't sustainable for us anymore. The last point is that the cultural and historical significance of our particular farms, I think, is what make this request unique, in that our farms are not just privately owned, but, for example, Pieces Farm in Verndale, they are working with the University of Minnesota to create and pave new trails, and they're doing a research project with our DSP in the University of Minnesota to be able to host students, to provide learning opportunities. This isn't something that you find on every traditional private farm.
Just one more. So the last line in line 1.10, so the grant would be to develop and build greenhouses and make repairs and improvements. So those are, I'm assuming that those repairs and improvements are on the greenhouses, so that is the sole purpose of this, or is it going to be used other than that?
Senator Hoffman.
Mr. Chair and members, it was lengthy on that piece because really what we're trying to get to the narrative is preserving the heritage and infrastructure of legacy farms and creating that so that you see that. And there are some, like Angela was talking about, the going to Moorhead to get a tractor, trying to do that. They just need that support to get this established and get going. And again, the paradigm is that this is about legacy and cultural heritage for these farms, setting that piece up. So it's a more global, but we could define to Renee Dozman, what those lists are, if that's too ambiguous of a statement. I just looked at that now, and Senator Lang, yeah, we do need some greenhouses. We want it to, because there's that sustainability piece, but think of those other things that are in there that it's not. I'm hearing your point, and maybe as we look at this, add to that. You know what I mean? So
certainly.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yeah, my point is you built 3 $2 million greenhouses. That isn't going to help your tractor situation. So.
No. Yep. No, I get you.
Senator Kunish.
Thanks very much for all this information that you're sharing with us. You were talking about the cultural heritage aspect of this request, and I noticed that you have a 40-acre co-op. That 40-acre is historically significant. Could you please explain what that reference 40-acre refers to, especially as it is African American History Month? Maybe you can educate us a little bit on that.
Ms. Dawson.
Mr. Chair, Senator Kunish, thank you for the question. So I'll try to remember exactly, but really the reference for 40-acre cooperative comes from the Special Field Order 13, which was given during the Civil War when the emancipated slaves were fighting with the Union, and as the war was coming to completion, the Special Field Order ordered that the emancipated slaves would be able to be housed in an allotted 40 acres and a mule upon the end of the war. And some of them began to settle and on their 40 acres. And after the assassination of President Lincoln, that order was rescinded and the promise was never fulfilled. And so those folks that had settled were removed and replaced with Confederate soldiers. And sometimes I say that, Black farmers have been displaced ever since because we've had a hard time getting sustainable on the land. And so the reason why I named it 40-acre cooperative is because we're trying to find that sustainability and also contribute again to the agricultural system that we helped to create initially in this country.
Amen. Well done.
Thank you. Senator Green.
I didn't read close enough to hear that you're putting up greenhouses, and you talked about hay and a tractor. And so now I'm curious as to what kind of crops you're growing, because I grew up in, my family had a greenhouse, and we didn't really consider it a farm. It was, we grew bedding plants. And so what are the variety of crops that you grow from your hay all the way to your greenhouse?
Ms. Dawson.
Chair, Senator Green, I, just for 40-acre co-op, now there's a whole bunch of farms in this association, so everyone grows different things. The particular challenge that I'm having is that we have 40 acres of land, and part of the land has greenhouses on it, which were destroyed by the straight wind tornadoes in 2023, and I have not been able to fix and repair them since. I've been doing it kind of $5,000 income by $5,000 income, and I've only been able to fix one of the 5 greenhouses that I have. But then we also have another 20 acres that has a lot of hay bales on them that need to be processed and need to be taken care of, and more hay that grows every summer that I haven't been able to cut the last year.
Senator Green.
Mr. Chair, I know all about greenhouses falling over. Happened to me periodically, and I can tell you right now that one bad year would set you back 5. I get that. But you haven't answered my question as to what any other $1 million for crops, and with all the other stuff going on in Minnesota, kind of makes me wonder exactly what's out there growing. So could you answer, what's the total number of crops and what are they across the whole 3 farms, or yes?
So I can speak for my farm, and then I'll let other folks answer. But so on 40-acre cooperative, we have a number of crops that we have nurtured over the years. We started with specialty crops, and we had a CSA that grew flowers. We had chickens, goats, organic hogs, and hemp is one of the primary cash crops that we've been working in. Last year wasn't a great year for hemp, so we didn't grow it last year, but we're hoping to get back into that area as well.
Thank you, Ms. Dawson. Senator Hoffman, any last word?
Just, if Yaya wanted to add to that, that would be fine, but no, I think we're good.
Okay.
Senator Herr.
All right, well, then
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Dawson and Ms. Cochran and the other testifiers for bring your bill forward, and also appreciate you share a little background on 40 acre, the naming of 40 acre, being that this month is also Black History Month, and thank you. We'll lay over Senate File 1387 as amended for possible inclusion. Okay, next is our last item on the agenda, and we'll go all the way till 5 o'clock. This is Clean Water Council Report 2026 and 2027. Recommendation, not report, recommendation. So I'd like to welcome 2 testifiers, and feel free to state your name for the record.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair. I'm Paul Gardner. I'm the administrator for the Minnesota Clean Water Council. I'll be doing some of the details and the recommendations, but we're joined by Mr. John Barton of Delano, who is the chair of the Clean Water Council.
Welcome.
Mr. Chair, members of the committee, again, John Barton. I represent Lakes and Streams nonprofit organizations on the council. And very briefly, I just wanted to indicate that the council is composed of 17 voting members. We are citizen volunteers, spend approximately a year putting these recommendations together, working in conjunction with all of the state agencies, local soil and water conservation district, watershed districts, cities, counties, and a lot of other interest groups. We solicited input from as many groups as were interested in water quality, and they ranged from the Minnesota Corn Growers Association to the Friends of the Mississippi River. So our input spanned a whole gamut of folks that are interested in water quality in the state of Minnesota. And as always is always the case, there were more requests for funding than funds available. So the council had to spend an awful lot of time trying to prioritize where we could get the biggest bang for the buck to ensure that the clean water funds were improving and protecting the water quality as well as we possibly could in the state of Minnesota. And we think we've done that, and on behalf of the council, I would then respectfully ask your support of these recommendations.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, last year we were very concise in giving you a 3-minute summary of our recommendations. I believe you're indulging us with a little bit more time this time, but it's concise, and of course it's your committee, so if you need to, cut us off, I know you will. So again, members, my name is Paul Gardner. I'm the administrator of the Minnesota Clean Water Council, and we're going to cover our recommendations for fiscal 26 and 27, which is for $310 million and change. First, about the Clean Water Council. It was created in 2006 as part of the Clean Water Legacy Act. The Clean Water Legacy Act deals mostly with non-point source pollution, which makes up 85% of our impaired waters in the state. At the time, there was not a funding source to implement much of the Clean Water Legacy Act, but the council includes, as Council Chair Barton mentions, we have 28 members. 17 of them are appointed by the governor from particular sectors, and we have 11 non-voting members, including 6 state agencies, the University of Minnesota, and 4 legislators, including Senator Wiesenberg. We also have to submit our recommendations to the legislature by January 15th of the odd-numbered year, which was a few weeks ago. I think under the power sharing arrangement, there were a few members who are no longer on the committee, who were on the committee, and they may have gotten it, but if anyone didn't get our recommendations, please let me know. You have the, I think, the abridged version in the, your packet. In 2008, voters, as you know, ratified the Clean Water Land and Legacy Amendment. The Clean Water Fund is 1/3 of that revenue. By 2034, when the amendment expires, give or take, a few hundred million, will be about $3 billion spent for clean water. The constitutional amendment language is very specific about the water money being used for protection, enhancement, and restoration of surface waters, protection of groundwater, and protection of drinking water sources. We've had a good, healthy debate in the last year about some of those terms, which has been quite healthy. In addition, we also have to spend at least 5% of the Clean Water Fund only on drinking water sources, and we exceed that number by several times. The state statute further refines the allowable uses of the funds. I won't read them all here, but I will just say that the important part is that the fund must supplement, not supplant, existing funding. I did mention that we have state agencies on the Clean Water Council. I'm also joined in case you have questions that I can answer if you want to stump the Clean Water Council. I do have agency colleagues behind me who you can often recognize in the wild by their lanyards. Their distinctive markings. They have their IDs in their lanyards. Sorry, I thought that joke would kill Mr. Chair, but it didn't work. So we have 7 state agencies in the university. The agencies meet regularly as the interagency coordination team to discuss how all the programs work together. But I do want to mention that even though in the bill form that you will see that the dollars go to those entities listed above, 2/3 of that money leaves the state and goes to everyone from private landowners to local governments for technical assistance, grants, loans, easements, and the like. We do support many full-time equivalent employees at the state of Minnesota, but more than half of them are located in greater Minnesota, where most of them are providing direct assistance to landowners and local governments. We are often asked by legislators when they see the bill version of our recommendations, they're asked how all those recommendations fit together, because it's not always easy to see. We have lots of similar words like protection and watershed and restoration and drinking water, and it's hard to see how they fit together. So We do like to use this 30-second elevator speech, and if anyone has to doze off for the rest of my presentation, I'm okay with that as long as you got this part, which is this. For surface waters, we test our water to see if there's anything wrong with it. If there is something wrong with it, we find the source of the problem. Then we come up with a to-do list for how to attack all of those problems to get to water quality standards, develop a plan with local stakeholders to prioritize which the items in the to-do lists get done first. Then we fund things in the plans, and then we measure to see if the fix worked. Can be a decade to a 15-year process from the time we detect first impairments to the time we can get things off the impaired waters list, if that's possible. Our fancy phrase that we use for this process is the water management framework, which tends to make people's eyes glaze over. And you'll see our other lingo that we use in parentheses that are not bolded in there. I'm always told by legislators that a map or a picture tends to always help. This is an example of how what I just described works in practice. This is the Yellow Medicine River watershed in southwestern Minnesota. You can see Granite Falls and Montevideo along the Minnesota River, which runs from about 11 o'clock to 4 o'clock on the map. The red dots are impaired waters. The red lines are impaired streams. They're impaired for the reasons that you see on the right. I'm not picking on any watershed in particular. It's just this map is particularly helpful. But these are mostly agricultural related impairments. About half of this area is also drain tiled. So it took about 3 years to go from the initial monitoring of all of the waters in this watershed, which I'm guessing is probably about 600,000 or 700,000 acres, and then to come with an assessment report to figure out exactly what the source of the problems are. That took about 3 years. After that, we do the to-do list, which lists everything we have to do to get to water quality standards, and then local stakeholders help put this otherwise incomprehensible table together, which indicates what practices one needs to do to get to water quality standards at a certain scale by certain year. That should get you the desired pollutant reductions, and we have an idea of what it will cost. That is very powerful information. By the end of this year, every watershed in the state will have a plan like this that says what they're going to work on for the next 10 years. Just to show you how we use the science to determine where to use it, in this case, in the Yellow Medicine watershed, the green triangles are where this watershed-based funding goes from the Clean Water Fund. After the Clean Water funded science and planning has been done, we fund projects which are in the plans. Those are the green triangles, and they're meant to get at specific impairments as evidenced by the impaired waters list. You can see the different types of remedies that are used on the right, everything from grass waterways to water and sediment control basins. One of my favorite acronyms in state government, a WASCOB. For groundwater and drinking water, the setup is very similar. The logical approach to planning. I'm not trying to pick on Wadena County and Verndale, the city of Verndale here, but the map is very illustrative of the process. The gold line is the municipal boundary, but the water that feeds into the wellheads along Highway 10 there moves north by northeast in the aquifer. So the blue lines measure the wellhead protection area that we want to protect to keep contaminants from getting in the well within a few years. Unfortunately, that wellhead protection area is outside the municipal boundary, and cities have a limited ability to address contaminants that are outside their boundary. So by creating something called a drinking water supply management area, or what we artfully call a DWISMA, we're able to create a zone in which the health department works with the local water utility, the Department of Agriculture, the Board of Water and Soil Resources, and others, and the Soil and Water Conservation District, of course, to try and figure out how to reduce the application of contaminants in those areas so they don't get in the well. This is a pretty effective tool. It helps all agencies work together with their local partners. We also have dollars available in grants to fund what is in the plans that protect those drinking water supply management areas. And there are more than 900 of these zones around the state, including here in the metro. Our council members asked if we could have a better map to show this spread of projects in the state, and it took quite a bit of GIS layering to do this, but This is an indication of three of the programs that have the most numerous projects. Everything that's supported through the Board of Water and Soil Resources is in the purple. The kind of tan, light brown color, that would be projects in those 920 locations by the Health Department. So you'll see, for example, in the Iron Range, a string of dots. Those are the cities in the Iron Range that have those DWISMAs. And then there's a kind of a bluish dot. Those are the 1,600 farms that are certified for agricultural water quality by the Department of Agriculture, and that's about 1.2 million acres. You will see some gaps there. Most of that public-owned land doesn't have a lot of people in it, so the 2 national forests, a couple of state forests, and Voyageurs National Park, but you can see in the communities splintered throughout. I remember meeting with Senator Hochschild a few years ago and mentioned all those small communities all have support from the Clean Water Fund. We were asked in your legislation last year if we could talk about equity in water quality. The council has been doing more public engagement than we had previously, and we have cataloged areas where the Clean Water Fund is used to help provide equal access to clean water. The immediate disparity usually has to do with what your income is and where you live. That where you live and what your income is can be based on other historical factors, but the immediate issue is location and income. We have several programs help to get around that in concert with bonding through the Public Facilities Authority and work with the Health Department. We have helped a lot of rural communities have more affordable water and sewer bills. We have made grants available to tribal governments in the state. We have $500,000 set aside in our recommendations for tribal government grants, competitive grants, and we've also sought creative solutions that we might not have thought of from 501c3s with that program as well. We've also helped with water efficiency in the Twin Cities. We have a low-income grant program through the MPCA to help rural property owners who have failing septic systems who can't afford to replace them. Sometimes the fix of a septic system costs more than a property itself, so it's faster to resolve the issue through a grant. And then what you helped fund us last time for is a 10-year plan to provide every private well user in the state with a free well test for 5 major contaminants, 10% of households over 10 years. Much of that is being concentrated in southeastern Minnesota. We do have a policy platform that's in your document that you'll see in the last few pages. The 2 that we're particularly pleased with that are new are on drinking water source protection. Sometimes the council is the only place in state government where ideas and programs of multiple agencies are all brought together on one piece of paper. And we have also added some other ideas for how to protect private well users. We also have one on drainage. I've been told that drainage is the 3rd rail in land management. Okay, somebody got that. People are very touchy about drainage, but we have made the case in a constructive engagement with drainage authorities and the drainage work group that when people are improving their ditches, which they can do under state law, they can also incorporate with a grant or technical assistance some water quality elements to the project. So instead of increasing the amount of water going downstream by digging out a ditch, we can hold some water back. We also have some statements on chloride, like de-icer and water softeners and a couple other topics there, including PFAS. Second to last slide here, actually this is the last slide, Mr. Chair. Just some key highlights of what's different here out of $310 million. Because more of these watersheds have completed more plans, we're putting more dollars to do what's in the plans. So we're putting in another, I want to say it's $11 million for what I call shovel-ready projects under those plans. There's also an increased investment in soil health and in continuous living cover, such as the Forever Green program at the University of Minnesota, designed to help farmers make money. At the same time, they're improving water quality. I mentioned the private well user support. I have a typo here. We're supporting soil and water districts in the Lake Superior Basin There's 6 of them to help them figure out how to get projects together for federal funding through the Great Lakes Restoration Initiative. That's actually a Bowser initiative, not the PCA. We're not quite sure where federal funding is for grants right now, so we're all on pins and needles for that. I mentioned the policy statements and the plans. And I'll just end here with a picture of how the Clean Water Land and Legacy Amendment has helped our communities. This is in my community. This is in Shoreview with a stream that used to meander like this, and it was turned into a ditch when the area was farmed, and because of the Clean Water Fund, it's been re-meandered into a stream, and it's become not just a way to slow water down and reduce erosion and improve water quality into Long Lake in New Brighton and the Mississippi River. It's also a recreational asset, and it also is great habitat. You wouldn't know that you were in the middle of the suburbs if you didn't hear the road noise as you paddle through there. This is how the legacy affects my family. We go kayaking on this regularly with my kids who are now out the door, and it's something they like to do when they come back home. So if you would like to figure out what is going on with the legacy amendment in your districts, I'd be happy to help you put a list together. But Mr. Chair, I'll end there and be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you for your presentation. Any questions from the member? Senator Kunish?
Thank you. I'm not super familiar with this, so I have a few questions. In your packet, under the funding recommendations, under monitoring, assessment, and characterization, when you make assessments, what do you do with that assessment?
Sure.
Mr. Gardner?
Mr. Chair and Senator Kunish, so this is part of our watershed-based approach that I crunched in 30 seconds, but I usually find it helps. Instead of giving people 20 minutes of stuff they don't want, I'll wait for the question. So the monitoring data is also put together with other assessment data. This is everything from county geologic atlases to groundwater atlases to fish assessment, looking at soils, slope, and the like, putting it all together in a report in each of the 80 major watersheds. And that's the basic science. And it says, here's the problems we have and here's why we have them. And here's the things we need to do. That is then incorporated into a bigger report put together by the MPCA called a Watershed Protection and Restoration Strategy, or RAPS. We're good on the acronyms in water. That is the to-do list. And so it says, if you do these things by this date, you should get the desired results.
Great.
So the monitoring assessment has its own report. Each of the major watersheds has its own report. And in the metro area, I believe you're in New Brighton, we have robust watershed districts.
Yes, you do.
So we even have smaller scale plans than what we have in Greater Minnesota. So the Rice Creek Watershed District, I suspect, has got some in-depth monitoring data of their own. Metro watersheds have had a head start because they did a lot of this planning before the Clean Water Fund. And so when the Clean Water Fund came about, when money became available in 2010, they were some of the most, or they were ready. They were shovel ready with projects and got competitive grants. So in Rice Creek, as an example, they were first to the table, as were many metro watersheds, to do things like this. And so now, 10 to 15 years down the road, water quality is much improved.
Yeah.
So did that help or confuse?
It does help, and that's,
Sorry, Kunish.
I'm sorry, much appreciated. So as I look through all of these different monitoring and assessment, I don't see any connection with the tribes. And so I'm wondering, what is your relationship with the tribes and how do you interact? Or, for example, pesticide testing in private wells, or that private well initiative, if there are wells, private wells on tribal land or reservations, does that also apply to, they can ask you to do those testing, or do you do that?
Yeah.
Mr. Gardner?
And Mr. Chair, Senator, thank you for asking. I had the chance just before COVID to go to state tribal relations training, which was transformational in understanding land use and understanding who does where was instructional. So each of the state agencies that receives the Clean Water Fund does have to comply with the need to consult with the tribal governments, and so they all do that. I don't personally do that, but we benefit from what they learn. In the last 3 pages or so of our full report, we have a list or catalog of everything that we're doing in tribal collaboration. So that includes everything from cooperating with some of the Ojibwe tribes on monitoring, where the PCA asked permission to do monitoring, but there's collaboration where there's different skill sets by the tribes in the state to work together. We've also made grants available to only to tribal governments to the tune of about $500,000 in the recommendations through Bowser, the Water Partners Legacy Program. And we've had 3 grants for that, I believe. And we have another grant round that just closed with announcements coming out soon. We've also had the We Are Water exhibit, which we use as part of the community outreach part of the watershed restoration and protection strategies. The We Are Water interactive exhibit is put together by the same people who do the Eco Experience exhibit at the State Fair. And it's an interactive exhibit that's done with community collaboration. Usually it's some community institution like a library, and it's done throughout the state. I think there's 6 or 7 sites a year. The last one, I believe, was done at, and please forgive me, at Hokuchati. I don't think I got that quite right. It's in Dakota, in Shakopee. And tribes have been some of the biggest advocates for participating in that, where people get to tell their stories about their connection with water.
Nice.
So it's part science, part planning. They also participate in the One Watershed, One Planning efforts, and then also on some of the education side.
Great. One more question, if that's okay. So there are a lot of requests in here for state dollars, and I see just a few of them reference maybe in collaboration with federal funds. How much of the work that you do you depend on federal funds, and should there be, turning off the water, turning off the funding, how would that affect the programming that you are able to do?
Mr. Chair and Senator, that is a very good question. I think there's a lot of uncertainty right now. The beauty of the legacy amendment is that during the worst recession since World War II at the time, Minnesota voters voted to increase their sales tax to do clean water and other things. That has given us the ability to do things that other states wait on doing until they get federal money. We have been able to do things in spite of not having federal money. So we're somewhat insulated in many ways on the core things that we do from federal disruptions, but we use the Clean Water Fund to do things that leverage federal funds. So for example, we have supported soil health grants through soil and water conservation districts, and that can leverage federal soil health grants through the Department of Agriculture. We are supporting soil and water districts in the Lake Superior Basin to attract money from the Great Lakes Restoration Initiative. We're not sure if that's coming. So we might do half the job that we thought we were going to do, or we'll still do what we're going to do, but landowners may not be able to get the federal matching part. So that's what we're worried about, and it's going to take a good long while to figure out all those interactions. But again, the beauty of the Clean Water Fund is Minnesotans said clean water is important. We voted for it. We're going to pay for it. And so the basics are always going to be there. I shouldn't say always, until 2034, June 30th at midnight, when the money blinks off.
Thank you. I'm done. Thank you.
Okay. Sarah Hausha.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thanks for the presentation. You referenced my region and all the public lands, and I am lucky to represent the only national park in our state, and it's the only water-based national park. And I just want to say thank you for the support that the Voyageurs Clean Water Project receives. There's a lot of resorts and cabin owners in that area, but being near a national park, it's often hard to pay for the ability to keep the water clean. And we have a lot of septic systems, old systems that are dangerously in that area that could pollute the waters. And so the ability to move towards a more clean water system is really important to us up north, and just appreciate that the Clean Water group looked at that and is funding that. So appreciate it.
Thank you. Senator Green?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I guess it would be fourth page where you've got your graph. Okay, on the top graph, it just gives numbers. Can you tell me what those are? You get pollutant or stressor, and then it just gives a number 3411. What does that mean?
Mr. Martin?
Excuse me, Mr. Chair, Senator Green, I thought I could wing it without the handout. So have you got the abridged version or the full?
I have both, but it's on, it's
Okay.
It's coming.
Oh, I see, I'm sorry. Oh, yeah, no, that I do. Yes, I'm sorry, I thought you were speaking about something in the report. So you're referring to, and by the way, Mr. Chair, Senator Green, can I just say how much I appreciate you, because I know that anything we write, you will actually read. You read, many of us in government write a lot of stuff that we think will never get read, and I just appreciate it that you look at it. So you wanted the graph part.
right.
So are you talking about the pollutant or stressors?
Yes.
So there are, I believe it's 31 different water quality standards that we measure against. And if it's like a pass-fail test, you're in impaired water if you pass, and you only pass if you get all 31 things right. And in this case, we've got red lines that show in impaired waters that may just have an impairment for one thing. Occasionally we have impairments that actually are related to each other, which tends to be a little confusing. But for example, we've got macroinvertebrate bioassessments. That's usually when you've got too much sediment in a stream and the macrophytes that the fish feed on can't really survive very much. Chlorpyrifos, that's pesticide, dissolved oxygen. That usually is an indication of, I think too much phosphorus tends to cause less oxygen. E. coli is usually from animal waste, fecal coliform from animal waste. Fish bioassessments usually means there's something in our, the fish assessments that's awry. Those often can be mercury, as you can see, mercury in fish tissues. Nutrients are usually phosphorus and nitrogen, nitrate. PCBs in fish tissue, that's what we look for with the DNR. Total suspended solids is sediment, and turbidity is the density of sediment in the water column.
Mr. Chair, I think you told me what I need to know. I understand some of the things you're talking about. I just didn't get the numbers. You're just talking about how much is in there. So what I would like, if it's, and maybe you could get that to me, is on the impaired waters, I used to get these, I've said this before, I used to get these breakdowns for my area as to how much was there. And I'm talking parts per million. Now they measure in parts per billion and beyond. And so an impaired water, for instance, I read a report that PFAS in the fish in the Mississippi River in Minnesota would be 0.00 parts per billion. So it's just a fraction of a fraction. And so, but because it's PFAS, any amount is pollutant, but is it damaging? And that's so when I'm looking at this, an impaired water could be anything. And so do you have the breakdown somewhere of what the parts per million, parts per billion, parts per trillion, whatever they are inside these waters, so that we know what we're spending the money on and how good can you actually get? So that's my question. That's all I have.
Yeah, Mr. Gardner.
Mr. Chair, we'd be happy to do that. There's actually a guide or a key to all the impairments, so it can give you what the ranges are. And boy, if you'd like spreadsheets, we can get you. Okay. I should make a note that the impaired waters list doesn't necessarily mean that an impaired water is full of molten hot lava, toxic waste. It means that it exceeds a water quality standard. And so you could have a water that's impaired for phosphorus, but you could swim in it, and it won't be the greatest experience you've ever had, but it won't kill you. There are some impairments that are more serious, but a lot of them they're indicators. It's a diagnostic tool to help us figure out where the problem is coming from. And there are some impairments that we know that we're probably not going to get to, just because there's almost 6 million people, and anytime you have people, that leads to declining water quality, whether it's a city street or a farm or a business development. But we try to triage it so that we can find things that would be of the greatest public benefit. So in the planning with local stakeholders, recreational lakes and drinking water sources tend to get the highest priority, as opposed to a pond that nobody uses. So we try to not stress people out by showing the whole impaired waters list or the map, because it tends to deceive a little bit. So we want to be clear with people just what it says. So we would be happy to get you all that granular data.
Thank you, Mr. Gardner. I do have a question. Will your recommendation be a form of a bill or through an agency, or how? What's the end product?
So, Mr. Chair, we collaborate with the agencies so that the recommendations are also submitted through the governor's budget process, and therefore a bill that's jacketed from MMB. And I believe that is somewhere in here in this building, ready to be introduced. And it should include the Parks and Trails Fund and the Clean Water Fund together. And then you would have that, and then you'll merge it into your vehicle bill in bill form.
Okay.
And we've vetted all the rider language, so it all matches up.
Thank you very much. If there's no question, Sarah Wisenberg.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you for presenting this. I think I know I've had some frustrations like Senator Green has had with when we're nothing against you. I'm just saying, like when we were talking about nitrates in committee the one time, we're just saying some arbitrary number that isn't harmful. So if it's not a harmful number, then maybe we need to say, just say it's 10 and 100, maybe it can be 50 and 100, whatever we're talking about, right? So when I asked for science, nobody in any state agency could show me any science saying why the nitrate level is as low as it is. It's just an arbitrary number that isn't backed by any proof. So I think that's what you're getting at, is why is that number there? We should move it up. And if it's not actually harmful, then it's not harmful. So we got to use science when we're doing this, and not just put a number somewhere just to regulate water. I'm not saying we should pollute water, but if it's an arbitrary number, then we need to actually use science to base our findings and how we're regulating waters. So thank you.
All right. Any comments? Anybody in the audience want to add on to the report, the recommendation? Sounds good. Thank you, Mr. Chair Barton and Mr. Gardner.
Thank you
for your presentation. So this is the end of our business for today. Just want to let folks know that Thursday we will not have committee because some of us will be going to pay condolence to one of our colleagues, so daughters. So we will not have committee. Next committee will be next Tuesday. So with that, our committee is adjourned.